Hey everyone, it's Sensei Victoria Whitfield here, your journey partner in business. You can find me at naturalintuition.com. And today is another one of the series of interviews of visionaries in their industry. I am talking to my besties about a particular question that we've been journeying around as a tribe for weeks, probably going on a couple months now, actually. Now that I think about it, true or false? This is a loaded question. I'm aware of this. True or false? Your energy has nothing to do with your level of sales and productivity. And if you are watching live, put hashtag live beneath this live stream so that we know you are with us. And if you're watching on the replay, put hashtag replay below so we know to include you in this conversation, because I want to know what's your point of view too, as Andrea shares hers. But first, before she answers that question, first of all, Andrea, Goddess, could you introduce or reintroduce yourself? There are some people who are watching right now. Maybe this is the first time they're seeing you, or they want to know, okay, what's her background? Like, why is she saying this in response to this loaded question? So, like, who are you? What do you do? Where can people find you? Give us the background, Mama.
Oh, hello, Goddess, and thank you first for including me in these conversations. I love them so much. I've watched every single one, and we'll talk about that. First of all, my name is Andrea Mastrobattista. I am an inspirational speaker and workshop facilitator. My company is called Operation Inspiration, and I help you to reconnect with, embrace, and embody your true self so that you can create the life that you love. And I've been doing this for 15 years. It is my absolute passion. And that's why Victoria and I work so well together, because she helps me do that for you.
So where can people go find you?
My new website is debuting today. I worked it that way. OperationInspiration.world. I would love for you to go there. There is a load of inspirational content. I would love your opinion on that. My email address is there. My social media is all there, so that you can get in contact with me. And that's all we need to say about it. OperationInspiration.world.
OperationInspiration.world. I love it.
I'm creating a world.
And so it is. And so you are right now, quite literally. Good morning, Christy. Christy Vanderland is watching with us. Hello.
Yay. Hi, Christy.
Yay, we love you. So, all righty. With that, you mentioned, Andrea, that you have been watching these interviews. Like all last week, I've been going and interviewing industry expert after industry expert around this loaded question, right? And I want to know, like, you said you watched every one of them. What's been your insight thus far, just as someone following along?
I love the diversity of not just the answer true or false, but why. And there are points in each conversation where I went, absolutely yes. Or if it was something new to me, whether I agreed with it or not, I actually saw every single point that the person was making, because I could see, because they were so eloquent in what they were saying, I could see their position and exactly where they were coming from. These conversations are so rich. And for all you viewers out there, I encourage you to watch every single one of them at your convenience. They're amazing.
Thank you. We're steadily uploading every single one of them, by the way, to the challenge registration page. So if you want to see them all in one spot, you can click the link in the description of this stream, everyone, to go and watch through all of the, I mean, like, I was just talking to my sister-in-law last night. She's been in Massachusetts, right? My brother and her are up there in like the MIT area. And they're like, we were just watching your interview with Cody. It was great, blah, blah, blah. So there's a lot of buzz going on. And especially because today is the first day of the challenge, right? It starts at 7 p.m. tonight. Looking into it, I want to ask this provocative question. So let's get to it. True or false? Your energy has nothing to do with your level of sales and productivity. What have you seen? Go.
False. An emphatic false, an absolutely emphatic false from my perspective. And we're gonna get into it. The question is about productivity and sales, but I'm also going to get into it not only professionally but personally because of what our family is going through right now. Now, as I mentioned, I'm an inspirational speaker and workshop facilitator. I'm a solopreneur. I work for myself. I do not yet have a team, but I'm working with Victoria to level up. So there is a team in my future. Right now, I am a solopreneur. I am the chief cook and bottle washer. So my energy is vital to my business. And about a month ago, this is the personal part. I live with my family. I am that generation where I am the caretaker for my parents. So my parents are literally in the next room. And about a month ago, unexpectedly, my father's health began a decline. And that took all of our family energy to the point where for about 3 weeks, I didn't literally get anything productive done in Operation Inspiration because he needed our energy unexpectedly. So this is your family. This is my priority. So I devoted my energy to him. So productivity, structure, which you and I talked about the other day, went absolutely out the window. Absolutely out the window. So there was no productivity in the last 3 weeks, or little productivity, and as such, there was no income coming in. Now I made provisions for that, but literally for 3 weeks there was no income coming in. So I can answer an emphatic yes to that question from my perspective because it absolutely happened. Something unexpected happened in our family. My energy had to be diverted elsewhere. So that's the beginning answer to the question. Now, also from the perspective, energy is, to me, we can talk about levels of energy and type of energy. And by type, I mean positive or negative. And I'll give you an example. Last year when the pandemic hit was when we started working together, March of 2020. I had 2 businesses at that time. Not only was I an inspirational speaker, but I was a web and print designer. So I've carried those 2 businesses for a number of years, working in tandem. So my energy was actually divided between the 2. And to be honest, more energy was put into the web and print design because that was my financial bread and butter at the time. Now, fast forward to that pandemic. In the very first week, I had a number of clients on retainer, which means I was updating their websites or their social media monthly, so they were paying me monthly. Within that first week we are in New Jersey, we are Jersey girls. Within that first week of Governor Murphy saying, okay, state is shut down, every single one of those clients suspended their contracts. So I literally had zero money coming in. And you and I had just started working together. Thank God. Thank the goddesses and guardians, because for the very first time in something like that happening, which this was nothing like that had ever happened before, but I had lost clients here and there, and I would go into a full-on panic. For the very first time, I did not panic. And I will tell you why. Because I saw if this was completely energy related, I said, okay, this is a clear sign to me that my energy, I've been riding that fence for the longest time. Web designer, inspirational speaker, 2 sides of the fence. My energy, I said, okay, this is the clear sign. My energy is going into Operation Inspiration. So you know the story, and I will tell the rest of our peeps. I threw myself into creating digital courses because I knew that was the way that this was going to go. We were couldn't see each other personally. So I literally, for the last year, threw my energy into that. And that's where all my productivity, I had massive productivity, got all my tech together, website, like I said, just upgraded it again for this. And things started happening. I started getting podcast interviews. Oh, Andrea, you're devoting now all your time to inspirational speaking. Let's talk to her. So the energy that I was creating by making that decision to direct my energy in that, things started happening. So productivity started, revenue started coming in, sales, if you will. And I just launched my very first digital course in May, and I'm planning my second launch for the end of this summer. So devoting all of my energy to that. I have people interested in the second launch already that weren't available to do the first launch. So energy, absolutely yes. For me, 100% has to do with my productivity and my sales. And I am responsible for my energy, by the way. And here's, okay, I'm having revelations as we're doing this. Yes, I love when you do that. Bring it on. Okay. I literally I still had the web design company in the last year because I still had clients here and there that needed my attention. But I had an experience a couple months ago where a client's website went down due to something that predated my involvement with this client. But since I was her current web designer, I had to handle it. And it took 2 days to get the website back up. And I realized within that 2 days, and my client gave me a great gift. She knowing my plans to go to inspirational speaking full on, eventually at that point, she said to me, Andrea, I need to find myself a new web designer, don't I? She gave me a tremendous gift. And I protested at first and said, no. I said, the time will come. You're right. The time will come, but it's not now. And then I thought back again. I said, no, she's right. She gave me she just handed me a gift and I almost said no to it. I said no at first, but I went back to it and I said, yes, it's time. So I have now divested myself of Operation Inspiration, and we are Operation Inspiration LLC full on. My energy is 100%, work energy is 100% devoted to that. So, but when my energy was divided between the two, I wasn't getting traction in Operation Inspiration. Now I am. So 100% false.
So you've divested your energy from the web design business, and you've full on committed your energy to the inspirational speaking, teaching, the expert business. This is amazing. So what I'm celebrating, first of all, what I'm hearing in your story is especially how your energy and your mindset has given you the ability to be resilient and continue to tumble forward, right? So with the knock that you received of losing all of your retainer clients, losing all of them, not just one.
Every single one. Everyone. Yeah. Every
single one of them. And rather than having a mindset that goes into panic, shutdown, retreat, like DEFCON 5, and said, taking that as a sign of, well, I'm now going to go all in on this, all in on my expert business. To have also, yes, my spirit guides just said the emotional juice to be able to make that transfer. That takes a tremendous amount of energy, or at least I'm hearing. This is what I'm hearing.
It does, and I don't want to fool anybody. It's scary.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you I wasn't scared, but I also, in that moment, because I had such clarity of this is the direction I'm supposed to go, it was less scary than it would have been had I had not had that clarity. So yes, it was scary, but I also had the knowing that clearly there's the sign. If every one of my retainer clients is going to disappear, that's a no-brainer. It's an absolute no-brainer of where my energy is supposed to go.
Well, I love that that's your mindset, because for you being in a visionary state, you can see the forest for the trees of like, oh, absolutely. All the buffalo left from that side of the forest. Yes, I'm going over here. Whereas if someone can't see the forest for the trees, they'll be standing in the middle of the forest and wonder, where did everybody go? Am I about to die? Is this the end of the world?
Right, because think about, I could have gone in that direction. I could have gone in that negative energy direction and tried to retain all those clients that went away. But I knew that they were so filled with fear that was going to be a futile effort, and they were going to need my inspiration. So what I'm responsible for is my energy. So if I'm going to go in that negative direction, it's going to get me a negative result. If I'm going to go clearly in the direction I was meant to go, because everybody else went away in the other direction, that it's, again, no brainer.
So you are exemplifying right now something that I call visionary storytelling. And this is taking charge of the story of your life and of your business and infusing and putting consciously positive words, right? Putting a consciously productive and forward moving spin on what's going on. Because you have the vision in mind. You have enough of the scope of the vision to be able to see this actually is not a breakdown, but this is a breakthrough, right? This is, and by the way, that's day 2 of the Be Visionary Challenge, which is tomorrow. So, but I want to dive into this because multiple times you've said, and I've been picking this up, witnessing you, Goddess, just now, multiple times you said, I'm responsible for my own energy, or I know how to manage my energy. And could you, for our viewers, for our fam watching in right now, could you break down what exactly does that mean? How did you come to that awareness? Like, what made you decide that you're the one who's responsible for your own energy, as well as how did you learn to manage that?
I'm so glad you asked me that question, because I was going to ask you if I could dive into that anyway, because you know my health story, and that really was the genesis of this. Okay, so we're going into it. We've talked about it before, but maybe not for this audience. We're going in. We're diving in, people. This is going to get deep. Watch out. Be ready. Okay, so almost 4 years ago, and in fact, August 28th, 2017, I was diagnosed with what is called a stage 4 pressure ulcer. If you can't see, let's see I never know which direction to go on camera. Okay, I'm in a wheelchair. I have spina bifida. And 4 years ago, I was about 50 pounds heavier than you see me now. I'm a 4'8" frame, and I was carrying about 150 pounds. So a pressure ulcer is, not to put too fine a point on it, but I was sitting on it. So it's a sore that goes to the bone. Mine went to the bone, and it's an infection that takes a very long time to heal. So when I was diagnosed, the treatment was immediate and strict bed rest. Now, despite my 150-pound frame, I was a very active person. I was out and about. I was doing my both businesses at the time, my inspirational speaking, my web design, and that it was okay. You're on bed rest. You cannot you cannot drive your car. You cannot go out. I had to figure out how to rejigger my entire business and how to work. That was my biggest issue. How was I going to do this? So the day I was diagnosed, I had the absolute freak out, Oprah ugly cry in the doctor's office, because I'm human. But because of my inspirational training, thank you, I knew, number one, that I had caused this because I had been negligent with my health. But I also knew if I was responsible for that, I could also be responsible for rising from those ashes. And that's what even though I had gotten myself into the situation, that because I'm human, that's what my inspirational training and all those years doing inspirational speaking had helped me learn. So I said, this is an opportunity. This is an absolute opportunity to be, and I hate the words, but I'm going to use them. I had become a cautionary tale. But I could also take that and turn that around and say, I'm going to rise up from this, and I'm going to become better. So what I did was I got all my ducks in a row. I called in all the resources I knew, saying my family needs help. I need help. I worked with a wonderful organization called Heartworks that got help for me and my family. They're a random acts of kindness organization that helps people that are dealing with illness or grief in any fashion. And I was able to get a personal trainer and nutritionist, one and the same person. I lost 50 pounds in the first 8 months on bed rest. So I was exercising from bed and completely retooling my nutrition plan. I've kept most of that off. I have gained some COVID weight. I'll be totally honest with you people. I'm human. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress, but I know I've got the tools. So this whole long-winded explanation is meant to say what got me here with the business and that whole decision. The worst thing that could have happened to me was the pressure wound. That my world came crashing down. But I made an almost immediate decision to say I can rise back up from this, and I worked on it. I ramped up I had, as much as I hate to admit it, I had been meditating about 15 years before I met you, but you ramped me up. So I worked on my meditation, my yoga. I was doing literally all of that from bed. I got myself in the mindset to heal. Now, it took a while. These things take a while, but let me bring you into it, because we'd met before that, but we officially started working together in March of 2020. You ramped up my healing, meditating with you, at least twice a week. I think we were at the time, maybe 3. So my mindset and my energy got even clearer, and my body healed faster. My wound healed faster. I'm now sitting 8 to 10 hours a day, whereas I wasn't before when I met you. So there you go. That's what it's like to work with Sensei Victoria Whitfield, people. I had the mindset before. I needed the extra oomph, if you will. You were my extra oomph.
I'm glad to be your extra oomph, goddess. Yeah, and that, I believe, is why it worked, right? I'm not a coach. I'm a healer.
Yeah.
Even though I do channel any guidance or coaching that comes from my spirit guides, I'm not a coach. I'm a healer, and so are you. So you came to me with the mindset ready. You came to me with the foundations. My meditation practice matters. My physical health matters. All I need is someone to hold structure around me so that we can do it more consistently. And y'all, anybody but anybody, Andrea, she shows up and she does it. She does the work. And that's why, how long was the wound going versus all right now?
Yeah, I knew our tech was going to just, because we're getting in deep, and our tech is like, wait, let me adjust and let me handle this.
Yeah.
Can we talk about structure for a second? Because, okay, you brought me the structure, and you actually brought it back to me, because let's jump back to this situation with my dad. For 3-4 weeks, because we were blindsided by this health issue, our structure was blown to bits. And even to the point where I messed up our meditation schedule and missed like an entire week. And it affected me. When I got back with you last week, I said it in the Zoom room. Within, I think it was actually ABC meeting first, Abundant Business Circle will tell you about that. And then meditation the next day. Within that hour and a half of Abundant Business Circle, my energy went like from here to here. Yeah, from like 0 to 60, because when I first came in that first half hour, you could see, you knew, like, I was just like, because you asked me a question and I said, I can't handle it right now. Like, my brain is going to explode. I'm feeling hurt in my body because I was so tired. But the energy of that room, I just let it infuse me and bring me up. And the structure came back into my life as of Wednesday last week, because I was able to come back to our sessions. So, yeah.
So isn't that fascinating though? Because in response to like the loaded question of true or false, your energy has nothing to do with your level of sales and productivity. And you said a big fat false, which I love. And what I'm hearing is that having a structure outside of you, such as working with me and my tribe, like having a structure outside of you that's like a set schedule, set format, set forms that you just get to show up in and plug into, right? And keeps running whether or not you're high or low or et cetera. That's like a steady energy resource. Is that what you feel is what's
right? And I have to plug into that energy to bring up my own energy so that my sales and my productivity and sales increases. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I've seen you do it, right? Because you then also plugged into, we have another vortex of energy healing called the Sales Goddess training. Into that, and you started closing higher sales, right? I remember like the course, we're up leveling, and I'm so excited for you to continue your ascension. So I really feel like within the scope of all of these interviews that we've been doing leading up to the Be Visionary Challenge, you are a rising visionary. Like you are the example for our sisters and brothers in business who are in that rising, in that becoming state, really in the thick of it.
In fact, in June, I rose up to your to that next level, your monthly. Yeah. So now I'm on your monthly retainer.
Yeah, and I'm happy to be the womb that carries you, Goddess, in your birthing process. It's magnificent to see that. And so with this being said, I am so excited because you're rising and I'm rising with you. Like I'm no like guru on the mountaintop that's achieved samadhi or nirvana or something like that. I'm rising with you, and I'm so honored to get to be your journey partner because tonight in particular, like right now as we are streaming this Facebook Live, if anyone is, by the way, watching on the hashtag live, put hashtag live, or if you're watching on the recording, put hashtag replay. We start the Be Visionary 5-day Facebook challenge. And so that is the workbook that Andrea is holding up there. And today we're going to be working on grounding your visionary. And I just have to say, Andrea, you're a brilliant example of someone who is on this path, who's been walking this path of grounding your visionary. So if I may, I just want to describe to people who are like, what do you mean a visionary? I don't understand, right? So there's a feminine, thank you. Yes, I'm coming for you. Absolutely. So there's the feminine and the masculine aspect of what I'm saying when you're being visionary. And most people are familiar with the feminine, what I would call the feminine aspect or the yin aspect of being visionary. Most conscious individuals, right? Conscious creators, empathic entrepreneurs, heart-centered, purpose-driven entrepreneurs are more familiar with the feminine aspect in general because most entrepreneurs like us are like you and I, in that it's the chief cook and bottle washer, right? You're in the thick of it. If it is to be like you got to be hands-on with it. And so the feminine aspect of being, or the yin aspect of being visionary, is you are intuitive. You are a dreamer. You have big dreams, right? You are a problem solver, the master researcher. You're infinitely curious. You're always on the hunt, looking out and following your feelings, following your nose, your instincts to where is the next shift? Where is the next bit of inspiration, right? You're getting downloads from spirit, and your third eye or your intuition is naturally guiding you. That's what makes you an expert or uniquely gifted at what you do in your work. That's what makes you an amazing graphic designer or makes you an amazing speaker. You're able to intuitively hone in on, this feels like I'm connected. That is the yin or the feminine aspect of being visionary. And most of us are aware of that as above, so below aspect to being a dreamer or one who receives spiritual guidance, essentially. And I, of course, as a Reiki master, right, the world's first business Reiki master, I've also written a book on natural intuition. So I am very deeply, I've been on 2 tours, right, a world tour and a national tour, all about meditation and intuitive development. This has been my life, is my life, right, for over a decade now, right, a little over 11 years. And so with that, there's the feminine aspect of being visionary that most people who are conscious or looking to live outside the matrix are aware of. So there's that aspect. And we've been talking about that. But then there's also the masculine aspect, or the yang aspect of being a visionary. And this is what we're going to really integrate this week in particular, every single day during the Be Visionary Challenge. And that is the being the visionary as an actual role, like a concrete role that has certain deliverables that you take action on, being the visionary of a company. And the visionary of a company, or the visionary of a movement, of a community, is the compass, the person who sees the way forward and determines the direction of where we're all going to go next, right? It's think of a great example of a visionary would be Steve Jobs. If he didn't have the idea of where to take Apple next, they wouldn't continue. In fact, they didn't continue innovating. Once he left, they were like, "Oh, we don't know how to be the best anymore." They're basically just riding his coattails. Now, rest in peace. Like, ever since he left and then passed away, unfortunately at a young age. But like, it's crazy to see when there's a presence of a visionary, they're an innovator, they're a disruptor. You're going in to see, how can I shake things up and take things to the next level, serve at the highest level, right? How can we make this better? What's the new now next? And so the visionary is the force driving forward. And when a company hires a visionary, in fact, if you hire your inner visionary, even if you're just a company of one, what happens is you immediately bring onto the team this powerful force of nature that propels you forward. There's a word for this actually in nature. It's called entelechy. It is the instinct for increase. That's what entelechy is. It's a different kind of intelligence that's built into every single living being. Entelechy, the instinct for increase. And if that was a role, well, not if, it is an actual role. It's called the Chief Visionary Officer of an organization. For those of you who want to read more about this, I'm never far from this book, Rocket Fuel, right? The first chapter is all you need to read. And I will be reading that this week, by the way, during our Be Visionary 5-day challenge. Tonight at 7, though, in particular, we're going to go into grounding your visionary. So how are we going to hire the visionary in Andrea's company if Andrea is a company of one thus far? So we're going to do that strategically, one day at a time. Just for today, we're going to install one part of your inner visionary, bring that online. And you have already, like, you're an excellent example of someone who's already on this path for the day 1 activator, and that is the physical aspect of being visionary. So when you get into your body, right, Andrea, you are excellent at meditating and bringing the energy into your body. You are now sitting up, right, as we're talking. So this is you being in your visionary, right, like being upright, connected to the flow of energy to and through you. And that is you being, embodying your physical visionary, right? The physical aspect of you being visionary, having visionary self-care of your yoga, right? And your better nutrition, right? Taking care of yourself because you know that your body can heal and regenerate. It's just, do I have the level of self-care that I need for this visionary that can regenerate this body, that can launch this business? Do I have the physicality that is in alignment with me being the version of me that is going to take things to the next level? And that's what we're going to be holding one another, to you, me, and everyone in the group of the Be Visionary Entrepreneur Facebook group. And I'm excited to see how everyone comes together tonight and expresses that. I saw, by the way, in the group, people are already going live and sharing their insights, right? And owning up with their daily video blogs. We do daily video blogs. We, not me. We, yeah.
It starts right here.
Exactly, right? Because this is not about Victoria being visionary. This is about our entire community. Every single one of us getting out there and being the vision that we see for our lives and our businesses. And it starts tonight. If anyone's watching, they haven't jumped in yet. Oh my goodness, what, like no time like the present. You're not tardy for the party. You're right on time, baby.
And let me make myself available for my online community. If you're watching this and if you have questions for me, DM me or make a comment on this video. It's going to be on my page. Let me know if you have questions. Let's get you in the challenge tonight because it's amazing. Yeah. I can't wait. I think this is my 5th challenge.
Oh my gosh, this is your 5th?
I think it's my 5th because it's different every time. It gets better every time. I learn something new every time. I keep coming back I can't get enough.
I love it. So I love hearing that. I love hearing, it's like, how many challenges have you done? Because like this was the 15th time I'm doing this.
Yeah.
It's like, why would you come back challenge after challenge after challenge? And you just said the same thing that everyone in the tribe that keeps coming back. So I'm different.
Yeah.
I'm different. And by the way, me too. Victoria, I am different. Every time I come in, although we're going through basically the same material and the same basic forms and foundational concepts, we are all rising and progressing together as a community. And I love to be part of that evolution.
But no, give yourself credit because this particular challenge, there is new. It's new. It's brand new.
Oh, yeah. We have completely reinvented it. Completely.
Yeah.
Like everything has been revisioned. Like I went through all of the source material of the last 14 challenges and I said, what's the best? What is going to have the most impact? And how can I speak to this current vibration of our community of conscious entrepreneurs, right? Of rising visionaries, people who are here to make massive impact and shake up and innovate in their industry so that more people's lives can be improved, right? I'm a firm believer that when more good people make good money, more good happens in the world. And I want to be a force for seeing that. Or I want to be a force for seeing that change. And the people who join this challenge and participate like you are of that same mindset, I believe.
By the way, I can feel an energy of people I want to join right now. So once we get done with this interview and it's on my page, I'm going to drop the link for the challenge in the comments so that you click that link and you can join right now and you could upgrade to the VIP level, which is the place to be. Join me tonight in the VIP room.
We'll see you there. I'm so excited. So Goddess, thank you, Andrea, so much for sharing so abundantly your positive energy, your radiance, and just journeying together. It is so good to go together. I am so grateful for your presence.
It is an honor, Sensei. Thank you for asking me. This was amazing.
So much love. Mwah! Bye, everyone.